Okay.
My name is DeWitt Lee, and on my way here, a disgruntled, very disturbed young lady boarded the streetcar, the TTC streetcar.
Who invited you?
I was invited by my brother here, Ibrahim, who I understand was speaking today about safety. And there were many people who were also invited here to speak, who shared with you the importance of safety and the importance of knowing what to do when you find yourself a victim. And I could have benefited greatly, I'm sure, for a lot that was shared today, because I was forced to just really do the least amount I can do because there was a woman who was attacking me. And I think, brothers, we need to prepare ourselves. We all know what we would do if a man tries to assault you. That's easy, right? That's easy. But what do you do when a woman assaults you? Well, I never had that discussion. I mean, maybe when my sister was growing up in my house, I had to worry about getting beat up by a girl. But never since then did I ever worry about a girl actually assaulting me and making me feel like a victim. But my brothers, I tell you today, it happened. This woman got on the streetcar and began cursing and yelling at no one in particular. Just cursing and yelling. And I happened to have an elderly woman who was sitting next to me on the streetcar. And she was very concerned. She was very scared. And so I spoke to her quietly and privately, this woman sitting next to me, to try to make her feel comfortable. Because I could feel that she was being threatened and feeling very afraid. So I tried to let her know that I'm here to support, and we just have to pray for people. We don't want to judge. This is what I told her, all right? We don't want to judge. We don't want to point fingers and say, this is why our society is collapsing. Because when someone's screaming, it's a call for help. And I called on the Most High to help her. And just in that moment, Satan showed up and lashed out in the most humiliating way, in the most vicious way I've ever been assaulted by a person, male or female. This woman, with rage in her eyes, began to spit on me. And I immediately stood up to try to prevent her from doing it again, and she continued to do it. So I turned my back towards her, and I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of witnesses here. This is a little person. If I put my hands on her, it's going to get bloody fast. And the good guy becomes the bad guy. Mm-hmm. And you know what they do? They figure it out in court. They don't figure it out on the scene. They look to see who's the most bruised. Whoever's the bruiser goes in the cruiser.
Talk about it.
And I don't want to go to jail tonight. I want to see my little baby daughter tonight.
New baby daughter.
My brand new baby daughter tonight. I want to go home and do what I do. Thank you. So, men, I was forced to bury that instinct to lash out. But it was only because I believe that the Father gave me understanding of who I was dealing with. That I realized that it wasn't a person I was fighting. It's a spiritual fight out there, man. As we walk as spiritual people, we have to know that we have an enemy that is going to use physical things. We have a spiritual enemy that's going to use physical people to disturb our path and distract our way. And so I turned my back to this woman, and now she began to get physically violent with me. And she began to scratch my eye. And I have a cut here. I'm wounded, man. I'm wounded. So she cut my eye, and I started worrying about this girl taking out my eye. And so I started to put some pressure on my back against her. and I pushed her in the corner by there was a vacant seat because people now got up and made room. And so I had her sitting down and I was holding her and I was telling the driver to call the authorities now. Now listen to this. Listen to this. She made her way off the streetcar, exited through the front door. I followed her to the front door, standing on the stair, and I'm telling her, and I'm telling the driver, call the authorities. This woman just assaulted me. And who, I need you guys to guess, who was waiting on that corner? Get one quick guess. Just one quick guess. Who do you think was on that corner?
Police car.
The police. Now watch this. I think, hooray! First time in my life. Hooray, the police are here. Can you imagine? For the first time in my life, I said, hooray, the police are here. So they were there for something else. It was just happenstance. It was just coincidence. And so she was there taking a picture of something. And I said, officer, this woman just assaulted me. Stop her. And she didn't move. The police officer didn't move. The police officer didn't care. The police officer let her leave. And the police officer is trying to get my information. And they're standing by, getting my name and my number and information, and she is disappearing into the darkness. So as I stood there with these two police officers, and they were telling me why they could not apprehend this woman, because they just can't do that. I said, well, that's what you do all the time. You apprehend people all the time, especially my people, all the time. You shoot all the time. There's a serious altercation taking place, and there was no concern at all by two police officers, because she had a partner in her car. So let me tell you this, and I'm going to wrap this up so I can get the bicycle. I'm going to wrap this up. They get my information. They get a very sketchy description of this girl from me, and they say, "All right, sir, have a good night." I'm holding my eye. I don't know if you can have an eye still in here, and they're ready to leave. No protocol, no health protocol, no, here's our information, nothing. I had to demand everything. Ambulance comes, checks me out, I get to clean up myself, and they offer to give me a ride somewhere. I said, well, you didn't take me right where I was going. So this is why I got a free ride by the police here tonight.
To the mosque.
To the mosque. And I told him where I was going, and he kind of, he got silent. And do you know in the car right here, do you know what they asked me? What do you think they asked me in the car right here? Seriously, what do you think they asked me? These are our police officers who are professionally trained and whatever. What do you think they asked me? What's my answer? Good question, but no, they already asked me that one. Am I Muslim? No, they didn't ask me that one. Any other questions? You think? Any other guesses? Here's what they asked me. Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. I did not know. She asked me if I got my Christmas shopping done.
Beautiful.
I couldn't believe it.
Well, have you?
I don't know. So, men, our safety is in our hands. I need you to hear me. Your safety is in your hands. You are responsible for keeping you safe. And even when you are a victim, like I was tonight, there is still room for you to be labeled as a villain, men. So I ask that you just take whatever you can from this. I shared this experience that I experienced today, and hopefully it'll prepare you for who knows what when you get outside.
I think they try to console you and cheer you up.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
time.
Takbir.